Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back for another Monday Q&A. And you guys, this next week is going to be a very interesting week on the channel. Things are moving very, very slow around here. So I just want to give you a little forewarning that while the foundation build was incredibly fast, happened over the course of 4 days, and they did it in 3 days, yeah, everything else will not be that fast. I don't think anything else is going to be that fast. Maybe the build of the greenhouse might go over the course of a couple days, but you guys are gonna see this week we picked up the siding for the greenhouse, or for the foundation wall. We picked up the stonework, and it's so incredibly beautiful. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Yeah, it's gonna go really, really slow though. I have pre-filmed a couple videos because I've got some birthday parties and some family events and things like that that I want to go to this week. And so I pre-filmed some things, and you guys, it took me an hour to get 6 pieces of this stonework up. It also doesn't help that it's about 103 this week is our, it's basically over 100 every single day this week, which is going to be absolutely insane. Yeah, not looking forward to that at all. That's going to be terrible. And the issue with our temperature is that we don't really cool down at nighttime so much. Like our low this week, the coldest we're going to get is 60 degrees, which is really, really nice. But we won't hit 60 degrees until... When do our lows hit? Our lows hit at 5 a.m. And so even at 10 o'clock at night, tonight it's going to be 85 degrees at 10 p.m. So we don't cool down, so that's such a bummer. It is what it is. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Miss Freya is coming to join us, I guess. So it makes filming really, really hard because I can't get out here super early in the mornings and film. I just can't be talking at 6 o'clock in the morning and waking up all of my neighbors and everything. I just think that's a little bit rude. I live in a neighborhood, and so trying to film has been a challenge. Last week we were at 103 a couple days, and that was just a little bit much. And so we'll see how this week goes. Like I said, just forewarning you guys that some projects might just be a little bit slower on the channel this week. It is what it is. Anyways, let's get into it. Last week's videos were so good. I just cannot believe that we finished the foundation for the greenhouse. If you want the world's biggest spoiler, there is a blog post in the description of this video. They were in the description of last week's videos. A couple hundred of you guys had already found it. And it basically is going to tell you the exact greenhouse we're getting. There's a PDF in the blog post from BC Greenhouse, and it's going to go over all of the cost, all of the numbers. I added up our shipping cost. I added our cost for the greenhouse. I added the foundation cost. The only numbers that aren't in there yet are like the siding, the stonework, the tile that I want to put in. I want to put in a chandelier. So all those things aren't in there yet because I haven't actually bought those things yet. But if you want the biggest spoiler, I will put it in the description of this video. If you want to check it out, just click on the blog post, or you can go to visitourgarden.blog, and then you go to the blog section and it's on there. It's titled "We Got a Greenhouse." Biggest spoiler. It's going to give you are going to see pictures of the greenhouse we are getting. I'm going to expect that you still watch the other videos though when they come out. But it is really, really exciting, and I don't do secrets very well, so it's up if you want to know. Anyways, let's get into it. Last week's videos, this one's going to be very short, by the way. Brent is inside. I was sick a week ago. Brent is now currently sick. He was out of bed for maybe 40 minutes yesterday, so I don't have help pronouncing things, so I'm going to pronounce things wrong. I'm going to say people's names wrong. I'm very, very sorry. Pre-apologizing for that. Reading is not my strongest suit. Last week's videos were our Q&A. Why am I even building a greenhouse? One step closer. Foundation starts tomorrow. Greenhouse build had started, which was day 1 and 2 of the build. And then we did sunflowers, shade plants, and a sneak peek at the secret garden. And then 3 days, thousands of dollars, and 0 regrets. And we also had a Saturday video, which was 5 huge impact plants that took off fast in my garden. So everyone who watched the Saturday video, thank you guys for watching my Saturday videos. I really do appreciate it. They're typically very, very short. They're usually 5 to maybe 10 minutes long, and it's just kind of like a little bit of information about something or a couple plants or something like that that's going well in the garden. And I do enjoy making those, and they're very easy for us to be able to film and be able to get out an extra little bonus video. So the first video that we did was the Q&A last week, as always, and I'm gonna make this Q&A shorter, I think, if I can help it. I'm already minutes into talking your ear off about nonsense. The first question on that video is from Wendelin, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, I love your videos. I live in south of Portland. Powell's Brooks is a Portland institution, and the Japanese garden is absolutely gorgeous and considered one of the most authentic outside of Japan. Question for you, does reading the comments ever get you down, or do you consider it part of the job? It never ceases to amaze me. Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me the need people feel to share unsolicited opinion. Your garden is amazing." So I had asked in the video if anyone had places in Michigan and in Portland that you guys knew about that I could go check out. So appreciate all of your guys' recommendations. I'm gonna put up an umbrella. Hold on. So last week I had asked you guys for recommendations for Portland and for Michigan. Thank you guys for all of the recommendations. I'm excited to definitely look into some of those. And then as far as reading comments, my best friend Janie will say that I'm a sensitive person because I do think about comments a lot. I do consider it just part of the job, and like it is what it is. People are going to say what they want to say. I try and filter them out so that way if somebody is saying something nasty, mean, or if we get some of those spam comments, which we get a lot of spam comments all the time, they'll be like cryptocurrency. We try to delete those. I don't really want people coming to the comment section and feeling bad. I want them to be able to watch our video and not leave after reading the comment section and being like, wow, that was really shitty. And so I try to filter those out, not so much for like my sake or whatever. Sometimes there are some that really do get to me. It does happen, and I think more often than not, that's just me having an off day than anything, not so much me being super sensitive about comments. I actually just put out a short video in the shorts tab. If you watch my shorts, you saw it, and it was kind of me just addressing some of those comments that I get. Sometimes I get very, very nasty comments, especially because I share a video with my husband in it, or I'll say my husband or something like that, and that really irks some people. I think at the end of the day, I'm putting myself on social media. It is part of the job, but also sometimes the negative comments, they don't really get to me. The ones correcting my grammar, those are the ones that get to me. And then the ones where people will just tell me I'm doing everything wrong. I'm like, it's gardening. It's not that serious. It'll be okay. Those ones, they just more annoy me than anything. The next question on that video is from Judy, and she had said, "Is Brent coming to Michigan with you?" He is not. If he had the option, he would never leave the house, ever. He would be at home 24/7. More often than not, he is. And the last question on that video is from Tammy, and she had said, "Will you be putting a shade cloth on your greenhouse to keep it cooler? I live in Canada, and I still need shade cloth on mine, or everything would fry." We're not going to be using shade cloth. We are going to be using, I found some really nice sheer curtains that I want to do that'll help diffuse the light. I don't really love the look of shade cloth so much, but I found these like beautiful sheer curtains. They're from a company called Quince that I really want to order. They're really, really pretty, and I think they'll kind of like class up the greenhouse. It's already kind of a classy greenhouse, but I just think that it'll kind of like go with that cottagey flow and whatnot. So I want to add curtains into it. I also am going to be adding a standing fan in there, and then one of those like AC oscillating fans. We're not going to be having a cooling system in the greenhouse at all though, just fans. Yeah, it would cost way too much to get AC into that thing. Plus, we would need a permit. The next video that we did was One Step Closer. Greenhouse foundation starts tomorrow, and that's where we kind of just cleared everything out and finished getting rid of the concrete, finished hauling off the lumber, we tore the fence down. Yeah, it was all the prep work. The first question on that video is from Proud Mama, and they had said, "Did I miss an update on your sister's garden bed? I can't wait to see the greenhouse." There's not, I mean, there was a slight update on Saturday's video. You could see it. It is very full. It's very, very gorgeous. A lot of the plants she chose have been doing amazing. The ones that I could not pronounce, they start with a K. Those ones are not doing great. Those ones are definitely struggling a bit. I might end up pulling those and putting something else in its place. I got a million other holes though, so I'd rather just fill other holes. And then if I find something else, I might just pull those and put something else in that place. But our garden bed is doing really, really well. Can you guys hear the roosters? The next question on that video is from JL, and they had said, "Hi Robbie, does the metal edging prevent snails or slugs from getting in your flower beds?" It doesn't prevent them from getting in the beds. I know that when I was talking to Edgerite, they said that because it's Corten steel and then the rust that happens on it, it has like a higher percentage of copper or something like that, and slugs don't typically like copper. So I'm sure it's got to help somehow, but they definitely still find ways into these garden beds. I am noticing way less slug activity into the jelly bean beds, and I think maybe it's because it's fully surrounded. But the beds where I've got like a fence on one side and then I have the metal edging on the other, I'm still noticing slug activity in those. I think if it was an area that was like fully enclosed, maybe it would help a little bit, but I also don't want to say yes or no to that. The next question on that video is from Sue, and she had said, "Hey Robbie and Brent, everything is coming along beautifully. I hope you're proud of yourselves because you have done an amazing job. Question, why don't you bite the bullet and buy a pickup truck? With all the items you have to rent a trailer, you could use that money for monthly payments, plus it would be at your disposal all the time. Keep up the good work. Love your videos." We would definitely like to buy a truck at some point. I want to buy just kind of like a beater truck, nothing that's fancy at all. One that I can throw gravel in the back. We did buy a new car, and so I didn't buy a truck. I probably should have bought a truck, but I didn't. And we kind of put in the fact that like, okay, it cost us 25 bucks to rent the trailer. We only need the trailer during the like bulk growing season. And when we get things delivered, we're ordering so much that we would not only need the truck, we'd have to do multiple loads in the truck. So say a delivery costs us 50 bucks for delivery. The time that it takes for us to go get, like, I want to go get mulch, I'm just going to pay for them to deliver it. It'll be a $50 delivery fee. But if I had a truck, the truck would cost us, it's 30 minutes to the yard. So it costs us 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back home. That's an hour of our time there. And then we would probably end up having to do 4 loads at least in the truck. And so it's just really not worth it. Or we would have to still rent a trailer to haul it onto the truck. So at the end of the day, it will be nice maybe down the road, but right now I just don't know if it fully 100% makes sense. It would be really nice for us to have a truck though, just so I could pick up big plants or whatever it might be. But when we do rock or mulch or things like that, it just makes so much more sense to just pay the delivery fee. The next question on that video, it's kind of more of a comment, was from Spoony Poon, and they had said, "That's so wasteful to throw the wood in the trash, especially since you say you live in a poor area. There's a lot of poor people who would love to take that wood. Don't throw wood away. Put it out front in the paper for someone to come and get for free. They would have even cleaned it up for you." I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I also don't fully agree with you. The wood was already starting to rot. It wasn't good wood. Plus, I live in the country. We deal with termites out here, and somebody had even brought that up. It's not something that I would feel comfortable doing, giving somebody that lumber. There was definitely termite damage in that wood. Actually, one of my neighbors, she's dealing with termites in their house right now. Every 5 years, we treat our ground around our house to prevent for termites, because termites are so bad in this area. When you live in the middle of nowhere and you live near orchards, termites are just kind of something that you deal with. And so we preventively put this like stuff that goes into the ground so that way termites can't like bury past it or go past it or whatever. So I don't feel comfortable giving wood from our garden that I know probably has termites, and I definitely saw some type of termite damage. I saw rot on it, so it wasn't even good wood. So I don't think it was very wasteful. I think that I give away as much as I possibly can, and so that's all I'm going to say on that one. The last question on that video is from Shotsi, and they had said, "So exciting to finally see the greenhouse. It is going to be such an improvement in your space. Have you ever watched How's It Growing on YouTube? I love what she's done with her small greenhouse. Moving the fence is such a great idea. When you have a small garden, any extra space is so welcome. I'm so excited to move the fence. It's going to make the garden behind the greenhouse feel huge, which is going to be so exciting." And then I have watched some of her videos before. We actually chat on Instagram we've chatted on Instagram a few times, and she even commented on a video this week, and she was like, "Hey, if you have any questions about the greenhouse or how to install it," she's like, "let me know. We installed our own." And so they have a BC greenhouse also. And so, yeah, I think I'll probably end up giving her a call at some point and be like, "Hey, am I doing these things right? Or what should I do or what shouldn't I do? What should I be prepared for?" So, yeah. we have chatted. The next video that we did was greenhouse build has started, and that was day 1, 2, and then I also did a little bit of plant shopping. I keep hearing the jays. They're attacking some birds around here. They're fake jays. They're rude. The first question on that video was from Jessica, and she had said, question, what variety are the roses that happen to be in nearly every frame must have? It's a beautiful rose. That is a pink iceberg rose. It's not a climbing iceberg. It's just a like bush style iceberg. That one, so resilient. First one to bloom, last one to stop blooming, first one to get aphids. The aphids seem to never bother it. Sometimes like the whole thing will just be covered in aphids, and I'll just take the hose and kind of spray them off a little bit with the water. It's always covered in aphids, but it blooms beautifully, and it doesn't ever look like it actually has aphid damage. Super weird. I don't know. I still love it in my garden, and it's a great rose. Like I said, first to bloom, and it just blooms non-stop. The next question on that video is from Tammy, and she had said, question, I planted salvia. Should I cut the stems that have bloomed to encourage more stems that will rebloom? Thanks, Robbie. Love that you're getting a greenhouse. So happy for you both. Thank you. Yes, definitely cut your salvia back. We usually cut our salvia back. Once mine is done blooming, I'm going to shear it back. Salvia and Veronica, I'm looking at my Veronica, is another one that you want to cut back. I always try to cut my salvia back once it's done blooming, because then you'll get a second flush out of it. So definitely worth cutting back. And the last question on that video is from JL, and they had said, hi Robbie, are you glad that the job was contracted out? Such a blessing to not have to do it yourselves. Watching this crew do the install is nice. I am so glad that we hired out. We really thought that we were going to be able to do it ourselves. We probably could have. It just would have taken so much longer, and we really wouldn't have had the full knowledge how to do it. So this is definitely something that I think that for the foundation, if you're building a stem wall like we are, you want to hire this out. I think if we were just doing a slab, we could have just poured that ourselves, no issue. My friend Chai Ming, Coastal Homestead, I met her when I was down at Monrovia, and then we hung out. I went to her house, and then we hung out up in Seattle at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. And she has a BC greenhouse also. She's kind of the one who helped me decide if I should do this or not, and she kind of helped me with the connections over at BC, and I saw her greenhouse. Hers is actually just on a wood foundation, so there's so many other options, and hers was much more affordable foundation wise, because all she did was she bought I think she bought railroad ties, I think. Anyways, there's a million different options. You don't have to go the crazy route that I'm going. The next video that we did was sunflower shade plants and a sneak peek at the secret garden, and we just had to take a day off. The guys were just waiting for concrete to be delivered, and they had scheduled it for the following day, so they just had a day off, and I said, okay, well great, that means I can get some gardening done. First question on that video is from QuiltingFanatic, and they had said, why are you planting 4-foot tall plants close to the edging? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I don't always think everything through. I was thinking about that with the Gomphrena at 2 o'clock this morning. I was like, why did I plant the Gomphrena so close together? Like, it looked great when I planted it. Now they're really full. I'm not mad at it, but I could have made my money go a little further if I had spaced them out maybe like 5 more inches from each other, 4 more inches from each other. I didn't. It is what it is. 4-foot plants near the metal edging? Sure, why not? We'll see what happens. Might be a learning curve this year. The next question on that video is from Bouquets by Karen, and she had said, hi Robbie, a friend has a fountain and has a huge issue with overspray. It's bad enough that it loses too much water daily, and she even does a less powerful pump. How often do you have to fill yours a week? Love your garden and congrats on the greenhouse and new car. Thank you. So my fountain is filled daily, every single day. We have birds that bathe in it, and so water splashes out that way. There's overspray with every single fountain. I don't know a single fountain that doesn't have some type of overspray. Even when I do my typical Q&As and my little tiny one that's sitting right there, it still oversprays a little bit. And that one we fill maybe twice a week. That one gets filled. So that small one still gets filled quite a lot. Fountains are a lot of maintenance. They're a lot of work, and they require a lot of attention. And so they're not for everyone. They're definitely for me. I would like to add one more to the garden somewhere. I don't know, behind the greenhouse, I think it would be beautiful. I love them. I don't mind the maintenance. We do hook ours up to irrigation if we can. So like our lion fountain, there's a little hole in the back where our pump wire goes through, and through that hole, we just shoved in irrigation and the wire pump. And then we put sealant around the hole and it just auto refills every single day. My one that we have in the jelly bean bed behind me that you can't see, that one, the tubing goes up the bottom of it, and so we just ran black tubing. Basically, wherever the cord goes in for your fountain, run your black tubing for your irrigation through, and then throw an emitter on it. And that's how you add irrigation to all of your fountains. So I just recommend adding irrigation to a fountain if it's even possible. The next question on that video is from Annette, and she had said, does your willow lose its leaves in the winter? Can't wait to see the greenhouse finish and what you do with it. It does lose all of its leaves. It's a very, very messy tree. So every single leaf that you see, gone. They all drop, and they all drop pretty close to the same time. So it'll be like a week and a half of leaves just falling. We rake them up, and then we put them into our yard waste bin. We don't compost them, we don't leave them, and I don't leave them because leaves don't break down here. We're too dry in the winter, so things don't break down. So come springtime, it'll just be a mat of leaves. I get questions all the time of why don't you just leave your leaves so they can break down and return nutrients to the soil. They don't do that here. So that's why I mulch, and I buy really, really fine mulch because the mulch will break down over the course of a couple years. The leaves just turn into a gooey, sludgy mat, and they don't actually end up breaking down by the time I need to plant in the garden. The next question on that video is from Sandy, and it's more of a funny comment. She goes, gloves, kneeling pad? Who is this person? Thanks for sharing. I know. You guys, the gloves, you're gonna see me in gloves anytime I plant in these jelly bean beds because it's so bad. And I have found that when I am working in the jelly bean beds and I'm kneeling on the gravel, I actually really do prefer the kneeling pad. It's been really, really great. I will only use the kneeling pad if I can easily find it and quickly grab it. If I have to go hunt for it, I'm not doing it. I won't do it. I'm such a lazy gardener that if I have to hunt for anything, I'm not doing it. Sometimes that's why I don't fertilize, because I'm like, I have no clue where it's at in the shed. I'm not gonna go hunt for it. I'm not spending 5 minutes looking for fertilizer. I'll throw some weekly water-soluble fertilizer on this plant should I need to. So that's sometimes why I don't fertilize. The next question on that video is from KP, and they had said, the garden bed under the willow, the plants look fine now. Just wondering that willows love water, so will it not take the water away from the plants that you were growing there? Just a thought. Everything looks gorgeous. Enjoy the rest of your day. It definitely will be taking the water. Willow trees love water. We've added extra water to these beds, especially this bed, because I know how much this willow tree needs water. During our summer months, when we do hit 115 degrees, I will run a slow hose to the willow tree, and it'll be on for 2 hours, a very slow little trickle of water, so that way it has enough water. We've done that every single year. There was one year that we didn't do that, and it started losing all of its leaves in the summertime. It started turning yellow, and I was like, this thing is dying. What's going on? It just wasn't enough water. So I actually think that these raised beds will help. Super crazy. I'm actually starting to see roots come up into the raised garden beds. So it definitely is finding the water, and it's very, very, very happy with how much extra water it's getting. The next question on that video is from Joey, and they had said, I've noticed you're not using the fertilizer tabs anymore. Is there a reason? My original thought was how convenient, but when I noticed you quit using them, I had second thoughts on them. Honestly, Brent put them in the shed and I couldn't find them. So that's why. That's the only reason why. Like I said, if I cannot conveniently find something, I won't use it. And so I personally like everything to be over by our coffee table outdoors. I want my gloves to be there. I want my clippers to be there. I want my fertilizer to be there. I want it all in one spot. Brent does this thing where he just kind of takes it and he'll move it over this way. And then I'm like, okay, is this where it's all going down? He'll be like, yeah. And then I'll go over there, and a week later, it's not there anymore. He's decided it needed to go into a new spot. So the fertilizer tablets are somewhere in the shed. I hate going into the shed. And so that's the only reason, but I really do like them. They're so convenient. I like that my hand doesn't smell when I use the grow tabs. I think they're great. I saw really, really good results with them in the front window baskets. I loved them. They're fabulous. It's just out of pure laziness that I'm not using them anymore because I'm too lazy to go look for them in the shed. The last question on that video is from Night Date, and they had said, hi Robbie, which BC greenhouse did you get? I have been looking at their greenhouses for my new property. Like I said, it's in the blog post. in the description down below if you want to check it out. Also, if any of you guys are thinking about getting a BC greenhouse, please let them know that you heard about it from me. It helps out my channel. It helps them understand that our partnership is working. They did give me a discount on the greenhouse. I still had to pay for the greenhouse. I still had to pay for the foundation, the electrical, the water, and all those things. But they did give me a discount on the greenhouse, and it helps my partnership with them so that they know that it's actually working, that it was worth it for them. So if you're thinking about getting one, please let them know that you heard about it from my channel. And the last video for the week was 3 days, thousands of dollars, zero regrets, greenhouse progress update. And the foundation was done on that day. It was so exciting to see it come to life and to see it fully happening. Brent and I sometimes just sit in the foundation, the empty foundation, and we just hang out there. It's so nice, especially in the morning. It's currently 7:30 and it's just beautiful. It's in full shade right now. And so we could come out there and we're gonna be able to have our morning coffees in the greenhouse, even when it's hot. We'll be able to go in there in the mornings, have all the windows and the doors open, and just like relax in the greenhouse a little bit. I'm so excited for this. The first question on that video is from Annette, and she had said, "Concrete guys did an amazing job. I'm so glad you share the progress with the video. I'm thinking of doing the same type of slab you had done. Could I ask how much you had to pay? I'm getting ideas and pricing is important to factor in." We paid $6,500. I think full transparency is so important, especially on my channel for me, because I know when I was watching other people and I'm like, is that even something realistic that I can do? I don't know. So I love to talk numbers. So the blog post, I've got one up. I'm going to have another one up. And then I do plan, once the full greenhouse is done, once I get the siding done, once I get the greenhouse up, once I get it basically done, I'm going to go over full numbers. There's going to be a sit down video kind of just like this, where I go over, okay, what did the top part cost? What did the foundation cost? What did labor cost? What did electrical, water, plumbing, all of that cost? What did every single thing cost? I'm going to break it fully down for you guys, because I had no clue when I started this journey what I was going to be spending on this. They did say the foundation that I paid for was probably a little bit on the higher end. I did have 3 quotes and all of them came back the exact same price. The one guys that we went with, they were $100 more, but I did just kind of vibe with them and I really enjoyed working with them. So I'm happy that we spent the extra $100 because I enjoyed working with those guys and they did an amazing job. I think transparency, especially if I'm doing these things publicly, is pretty important for me. The next question on that video is from Redbud Woods, and they had said, "Nice job on the concrete. Just curious, did you have permits for your city? Exciting to see the finished greenhouse." We did not get permits for this project. It's best to call your local ordinance, but with BC Greenhouse, the size that I got is kind of the size that you typically don't need a permit in most cities. We live in the middle of nowhere where 1,800 people live here, so it is like country out here. There's been a couple times that we've called and we've done some work and we're like, "Hey, do we need a permit for this?" And they're like, "Yeah, probably, but we're not going to come out." Because we are about 40 minutes away from where they come from, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not driving 40 minutes to come inspect that." They're all, "So yeah, you could get a permit, but we're not coming out." So the 8-foot by 12-foot is typically the size that you don't need a permit for. So if you're working with BC Greenhouse, they will let you know that. Yeah, that's also the reason that we chose this size. I did want a little bit bigger, but I also didn't want to have to pull the permits. So call your local cities, see if you need a permit for a 8-foot by 12-foot structure, or if you need permits for any of that stuff. Or once you talk to them about wanting to order, they will let you know. BC Greenhouse did say that most people who are ordering a greenhouse, it's usually like 6 months to a year from start to finish with them. Because people start calling and they've got some inquiries, they've got some questions that they want to go over, like, do I need a permit? Do I need this? Do I need that? And then you call your local city, see if you actually need the permit. And then it's designing your greenhouse, making sure that everything you like, and then it's paying for it. And most people go slow payments for it. And then it's building the foundation. I am working at like lightning speed, they said. We started talking about this greenhouse and getting it ordered was literally over the course of like a week. 2 weeks of me, like from talking to them to order placed to them like getting ready to like build and ship it out. So it was incredibly fast, and that's not very typical. They said most people move a little bit slower. So you don't need a permit for this size for most areas. And that was my tangent. The next question on that video is from Grant, and he had said, you may have already talked about it and I missed it, sorry, but why did you select this orientation? So originally it was going to line up with our current walkway, and as I was like standing there and we were kind of sitting where we would be seating in the greenhouse, I didn't fully love the view. And so then we just slightly changed the orientation, and it gave us more of a garden behind it that was a little bit more hidden. And the view became better. I mean, I had somebody who said, it's a glass house, you're gonna be able to see the same view no matter what. I mean, really, technically, yes, but the way that you orient chairs on a way that something is positioned and the way that you'd be facing is totally different than if it was the way that I originally had wanted it. So the fact that we slanted it and the way that a table will be sitting, now when we sit at this little table, there's gonna be a better view from the way that you're sitting. Like right now, I wanted you guys to have this view behind me, so I'm staring at a fence. But if we had gone a different way, I would have a better view and you guys wouldn't. Technically, I could see the entire same view. So the reason that we just switched it was we just moved it back just a little bit, just so that way when we're sitting in there, the view when sitting in there is just perfect. And the last question on that video is from Gardens Glory, and they had said, wow, Robbie, I'm so happy for you. I was sitting here thinking how far you've come. I was trying to remember how you met Janie. She featured your channel on hers, didn't she? And then you two became fast friends. Am I remembering that right? Deanna. That is pretty close to how it happened, yeah. She actually got featured over on Laura's channel from Garden Answer, and I had found her over on, so then I found her on Instagram, and I followed her on Instagram. She followed me back on Instagram, and her and I just literally just started chatting. And it was like we became fast friends through chats and instantly just connected. And I think I was one of the very first garden tours that she had done anywhere. And she's like, hey, can I come up and do a tour of your garden? And this was like, I think March or something like that. The garden looked just awful. Nothing was growing yet. I was just starting the cut flower garden that I was doing. And I was like, oh, God, yeah, sure, if you want to come up, you can come up. I hadn't fully jumped into YouTube yet. I had been making some videos and just putting up things here and there when I wanted to put things up. And her and I just, we clicked. The second she came over, we instantly clicked. Brent had left. He was doing some work over at a neighbor's house at that time. And he was like, I can literally hear you guys laughing. And I'm 4 houses away. And her and I, we just instantly connected. It was like we had known each other for a lifetime and 0 time had passed since we had seen each other last. It was so crazy how quickly we became friends, and her and I are still like that. I think she might be coming up to help with building the greenhouse. She would really like to get up here. I know she wants to get up here and see the greenhouse. So we're trying to figure out if she can get up here and build the greenhouse with us. We're just waiting for it to be delivered. It should be here. Actually, the day that you guys are watching this, it should be here, which is so exciting. So, greenhouse will be here. How much work we're gonna get done on the greenhouse? It's probably not gonna happen for a week or 2. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that is going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This week is going to be a slow week in the garden. It's so hot, it's so humid up here. I'm gonna go over that in another video, how the humidity works here, because I get I get people that give me a little lip for talking about how it's humid here, because I know that it'll be like 80% humid elsewhere, but it'll be like 40% here and I'll complain. But it's the dew point that we're worried about. Anyways, thank you guys for visiting our garden. I cannot wait for you to see the greenhouse. If you want the spoiler, check it out in the description down below. Thanks for visiting our garden, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.